Welcome to Western Oregon University's inaugural Tree Campus Arbor Day event. I'd like to begin by making some introductions of folks who have been involved in putting this event together. I'll start with members of Western Oregon University's Arboreal Advisory Committee, including Paul Finke, Kevin Hughes, Ron Cooper, Ava Howard, Mary Pettinger, and then Michael Calhoun, who's also going to be making presentations this afternoon. And then is Austin here? Austin Garrett? Austin, please join us. We also have some additional student presenters this afternoon who are going to be talking about various fun and interesting facts about the trees along with Michael, and they include Jacob Howard, Alexander Heenan, Joseph Reeder, and Adam Jensen.
Behind me is the tree that was dedicated to Christy McAuliffe in 1986. She was one of 6 astronauts that died during the Challenger explosion. She was a part of a program that was supposed to be the first citizen teacher in space out of 11,000 applicants, including my dad. So they were supposed to launch, and what was supposed to happen was she would broadcast her educational videos to PBS, and a lot of students, over 2 million, were planning on having that part of their curriculum, but unfortunately a lot of them were watching when the Challenger exploded. Oregon, being an education school, dedicated this tree in 1986, and it continues to inspire future educators that, even though some of the things you may go for are challenging to reach for the horizon, don't let obstacles stop you. So that's about all the social history for this tree. I'm going to turn it over to the next student.
This Prunus seriolata is a member of the Rosaceae family. It originates originally from China, Japan, Korea, that part of the world there. This tree in particular will grow up to 18 to 12 meters tall. That's roughly 26 to 40 feet. Ornamental cherries, such as this one, normally live up to 15 to 20 years. But with proper care, they can live far longer than that, as we see in the cherry trees that are growing in Washington, D.C. One of the main reasons why we keep around Kwanzan cherries is, in landscaping, is that its flowers. The flowers produce our racemore clusters of 2 to 5, and they're together at the nodes. They are white to pink with 5 petals, and especially in the Kwanzan cherry, these flowers just are doubled. The leaves are arranged alternately, simple, ovate, lanceolate. The structure of the plant is a small deciduous tree with a short trunk and a dense crown. This species, especially the Kwanzan, because there's different types of Japanese cherries, the Kwanzan here is especially used for its flowers. Again, it's one of the hardest blooming, it blooms very strong. Some cherry trees are used for landscaping, is sometimes to attract birds and natural wildlife. This cherry doesn't produce nearly as much fruit to attract wildlife, so the show is the tree, not what it attracts in this case. Kwanzan cherries grow in acidic, alkaline, loamy sandy soils, well-drained, wet clay soils. While it prefers moist conditions, this tree is somewhat drought tolerant. So other species in the genus Prunus, which is also known as the stone fruit family, there are 19 different genuses within that family, including Rosa, as you see over there with the roses, and Fragaria, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, and that is including strawberries. So we can go from strawberries to rose plants to cherry trees. Rosaceae is a very fun family, and I enjoy it. I'm really happy to have this tree on campus, and it really does bloom very beautifully. When you get a chance to see it, I recommend you coming to see it.
Behind me is the parents' tree. It was dedicated in 1990. Unfortunately, looking through the archives, there wasn't a lot of history to it. It was chosen by the commencement committee of 1990, and they couldn't decide what single person they wanted to dedicate it to, so they decided to dedicate it to the parents of all Western students. Now, what I did find funny looking through the notes when they were planting the tree, they specifically said they don't want this to look, the memorial to look like a tombstone. And I think that is something that is challenging, not only to Western, but other institutions. When you want to memorialize something, how do you do it without making it look like someone's actually buried there? So that is a brief summary of the parents' tree, and now I'll hand it off to the next student.
Hello, I'm Alexander Heenan, and I'll be presenting this Katsura tree. That is the common name. Of course, the scientific name for this tree is Cercidiophyllum japonicum Seibold Zeckerini. The family is Cercidiophyllaceae, and it's native to China and Japan. It gets to be about 40 to 60 feet tall, but has been seen to grow to 100 feet in wild populations. The flowers it produces are small green pods, and it doesn't look as though there are any on it right now. And its foliage, as you can see, is rounded leaves to cordate shape, which means they're heart-shaped leaves. They start out as red buds in the spring, but then become different shades of green to, some have described it as blue, and turn various shades of orange and yellow in the fall. The leaves are deciduous, and when they fall, they say they put off sort of a caramel scent. The tree is pyramidal to oval shape when mature. Other species in this genus are Cercidiophyllum magnificum nakai. But as for the family is monotypic, meaning there is only one other species in the family, which is that one. It has no poisonous or edible properties, and though the population in China is endangered, populations in Japan and as ornamentals put it at lower risk. It doesn't tolerate drought well, and it's not so good in high heat, but those aren't two things we have to worry about too much in Oregon.
This is the Montana walking bull tree. It was dedicated to Dr. Montana Hopkins Rickards Walking Bull, a former professor at Western Oregon who taught for over 15 years. She passed away in 1988. Walking Bull was a member of the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma and was a nationally recognized scholar and author of Native American literature. When this was dedicated almost 30 years ago, one of her poems was read, and I'm going to recite it for you all now. It's called Wolf Bird. Wolf head and bird tail, she stands in the center of the whirling disk. She goes round and round, wolf ears listening, feathered tail swirling. Thus she commands the animals, beasts of all degree, size, shape, and color. But none gets near the whirling disk where wolf bird stands and swirls her feathered tail. At a motion, the beast will move to the rhythm of the swirling feathered tail, the august fan-like bird tail. In vain you will lock and bar your doors and secure your windows. The animals will enter, the assault will come, at the signal of the feathered tail.
Behind me is a Sequoiadendron giganteum, Lindley Bescholtz. The common names for the Sequoiadendron is the giant sequoia, the big tree, sequoia, Sierra redwood, and in Native American it's also known as Wawona. For the Tule River tribe it is Tuspang-ish, and also Hea-mi-withik. The origin for this tree is actually in the Sierra Nevada mountains in Central California. There are currently 75 groves scattered over 420 kilometers, which is 260 miles, starting with 8 groves from the American River southward to the Kings River, and then from the Kings River to Deer Creek in southern Tulare County. This tree on average gets about 50 to 80 meters tall, which is about 164 to 279 feet, with a diameter of 6 to 8 meters across, which is 20 to 26 feet. The largest redwood so far is 311 feet, and with a base diameter of 21 meters across, which is 69 feet. The average lifespan of this tree is anywhere from 400 to 800 years, but the oldest one being the Muir snag in California, which is 3,500 years old. The flowers are with the gymnosperm. It is a monoecious tree. It produces both male and female cones, with the female cones being 4 to 7 centimeters long and having 50 spirally arranged scales. The seeds in each cone are a dark brown, about 4 to 5 millimeters long, and they are winged on both sides. For foliage, it is an evergreen with an awl-shaped leaves, about 3 to 6 milliliters long, and they're arranged spirally along the shoot. This species is actually used as an ornamental tree in Europe, Canada, as far south as Chile, and also in Australia and New Zealand. Sequoiadendron is actually the only species in its genus to be known, but there are three other species that are in the Taxodiaceae family that we are known in Oregon, which is Sequoia sempervirens, D. Don Endlicher, and of course we have Sequoiadendron giganteum. There's 135 different names for the species, only 15 of which are accepted. The Sequoiadendron was actually named in part and derived from Sequoia, who was actually the inventor of the Cherokee syllabary. The Sequoiadendron also produces very thick bark, and it is made specifically just for fire protection.
This tree is commonly found in the Pacific Northwest, so Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and California. Fun fact about this tree is the further north in altitude it goes, the lower in elevation that it can grow. So in Alaska, you can see this tree growing at about 3,300 feet above sea level. In Oregon, it ranges more from 4,500 to 8,000 feet sea level. And then in the Sierra Nevada mountains, it's found between 8,200 feet and 10,000 feet. This tree is really important ecologically in watershed ecology. It's really important to watersheds in the area. It's also pretty frost tolerant, and so it's a great tree to see growing in the mountains where there's pretty valuable watersheds. There's a number of species in this genus as well, but there's two main in this that are found in our flora. Tsuga heterophylla and Tsuga mertensiana are the two that we find in Oregon. And in mertensiana, there's two cultivars. The Elizabeth cultivar, which is more of a spreading, and the Glacier Peak, which is more broad and upright. This tree right now is not very tall, but it will grow typically to be about 30 feet, but it can get up to about 130 feet tall. And it's a very long-lived tree. I've heard rumors of up to 1,400 years old, but I've never seen any published papers on that. Everything that I've seen that's been more documented has been about 800 years old. So it's possible that there are some that are very, very old trees. So that's why it's pretty popular in gardening, is because it's typically more compact foliage and it doesn't get as massive as some of the other trees that we can find in the area. And it's generally long-lived, and so you're not going to be replanting it. If you plant it, it's going to be there for a long time, longer than you. Some other reasons that people plant it is it's just a really good-looking hemlock. It's a nice pine tree to add to your collection in a garden, and it'll be a great complement to our campus.
I just wanted to go over a few of the planting technique that we do here on campus. And it's very simple, but it's tried and true. And with over 1,500 trees that we care of here on campus, it's just a good start. Is very valuable to any kind of tree. But anyway, if you could come a little bit closer, and we'll kind of go over a few of the things. We have our golden shovels here, which are pretty impressive. Don't you think so? Thank you. Okay. All right. Very good. A lot of times the hole is dug, and we like to scour the sides or score the sides a little bit in here, just so the roots can have an opportunity to go out. Sometimes the roots in these balls, we like to score them also to get the roots to be able to come out as soon as possible to get this tree moving right away. A lot of times I will trim some of the lower branches off, and then later on, as it gets established, we will prune for shape and health of the tree. That's initially it. We do stake our trees. We make our own stakes here on campus, and we usually stake them for the prevailing winds. Yeah, please help yourself. Come in and put a shovel loaded. There's some more soil up here, and these stakes are usually put on the south and side. We're south and north probably. Stakes will stay on for approximately a year and a half, and I'll have the crew come do that afterwards. This is a tree chain material. It's a very strong, stout material, adjustable. You can wrap it around the tree, whatever size it is, and lock it in there. And as the tree grows, you can always take it and adjust it to the growth of it so it doesn't girdle the tree or wrap the tree around there at all. Very good product, very good product. And then we always water, whether we're planting in the winter time or planting right now in the later spring. We always water our trees in, just to give them that good start.
Well, that concludes our campus tour. I just wanted to share a little more information about our committee and what we will be doing over the next year. We are planning to launch a Western Oregon University Tree Campus website in the not too distant future and encourage you to visit that site often. On behalf of the Western Oregon University Arboreal Advisory Committee, I want to thank our student presenters and you for making this celebration a success.